Hey, good morning, peeps. It's Friday. What's up? And you are watching The Morning Juice, where I come at you every weekday, early morning, 6, 7, 8 a.m.-ish Eastern Standard Time, talking about plant-based nutrition, detoxing with pure whole foods, and taking a holistic approach to your health. My name is Larissa Lee, your nutrition and detox guru, helping you burn fat faster and skyrocket energy through plant-based nutrition. So if you guys are hopping on, say hello. Today we are talking about, should you be buying organic? Is it worth your money? And you're going to find the answer to that. Now, if you guys may or may not know, about 3 years ago, I had a rare form of cancerous tumor growing in my left knee, which is a crazy place for a cancerous tumor to grow. And at that time in my life, I had been struggling to stay awake, like always tired, like struggling, needing caffeine to stay awake. Had acne, constipation, just irritated all the time, right? And I knew that I needed to make a change, but this was the thing that really kind of like resounded, like, yes, you need to make this change right now. And during that process, I not only stuck with conventional medicine, but I also got myself a functional medicine doctor who is the type of doctor that puts conventional medicine and alternative therapies together, which really helped me through that process a lot. Because this is the point, like where I said before, where I started to change my diet. When I even started, like I started a year before that, but it just was not happening completely. But I got really strict and really, consistent and started to do my own research. And instead of just listening to other people or, taking what I was taught at school at face value or kind of just taking that as complete truth. And, my surgical oncologist, which was my conventional medicine doc, he's a great guy, still see him to this day, awesome, great bedside manner, love that guy. But unfortunately, he's not really well versed in diet in the way, how powerful it is to treat disease. And I literally said, like, I've been doing this research, I've been changing my diet, like, will this help at all, like, with recurrence? And he said, I wouldn't, encourage you to eat McDonald's every day, but changing your diet to just eat healthier or just to eat more fruits and vegetables really hasn't been shown to prevent reoccurrence either way. So seeing my functional medicine doctor was really helpful because it confirmed for me. He was like, yes, it absolutely does. And, what you put into your body is important. And, the quality of that food is important. So just going through that research and having that, sounding board and that backing really helped me stay consistent through the entire process. Anywho, today I just wanted to share that spiel because that kind of comes into play with why I choose to spend more money on buying organic products. Now, when I say organic products, I mostly mean produce, nuts, seeds, whole grains, meats if you are into that, wild caught fish, that whole jam. Now, of course, getting organic processed foods, that's not really going to do you any good there because processed foods just aren't the way to go. We really need to keep it as whole as possible. And of course, processed foods are okay every now and again, but we don't want to be basing our diet off of that. But what does organic even mean? When you see an organic label on your produce, do you even know what that means? It simply means that, I guess it's not really that simple, but it means 4 things. It means that there haven't been any synthetic pesticides used on the food. It means that there hasn't been any synthetic fertilizers. It means that your food has not been exposed to radiation, and it also means that your food does not have any genetic modification within that particular food. Which is, if you guys have never heard of GMOs, which is a hot topic nowadays in a lot of our foods because it can be causing a huge problem. So that is what simply organic means. So we have less pesticides, like more natural forms of that, right? No radiation. We know radiation isn't good for us, so we don't want our food being exposed to radiation. We want to be using as natural fertilizers as possible, right? And we definitely don't want any GMOs in our food. So this is why I choose to buy organic. But what are the more so reasons that we need to be kind of looking at more organic sides of the chain and start incorporating more of those foods instead of, the conventional stuff? So, one of the reasons is that it's more sustainable. Now, the big GMO thing and the big pesticide, I don't know what to say, what hysteria came into play because people felt that we needed to be, feeding more people, like there was a shortage of food. And they say that when you use fertilizers and when you use GMOs, within your season, within your product, you're able to have a higher yield with the foods that you know are growing. And we need to be able to feed the world, right? So we want to have these higher yields and more sustainable. But in reality, when studies were done comparing conventional farms to organic farms, yields were the same, right? So it's kind of like a big marketing play here, just so that certain companies can get their types of products out into the market, aka Monsanto, if you've never heard of them, which is a big company that sells not only GMO seeds, but also a lot of herbicide. So more sustainable, not a chance. Not only that, when you are conventional farming, you're growing the same types of food over and over and over and over and over again on the same land, depleting it from all its nutrients. Whereas organic farmers take a lot more time to actually make sure there's nutrients in that soil. They make sure that their crops are rotated so that you can have better quality food, right? Because we don't want to just eat vegetables and they're just not good quality, right? No, we want to eat vegetables because they're giving us the nutrients that we need. And you can get that better so from organic farming. And that leads me to my next point, better quality. Now, if you compare an organic apple to a conventional apple, of course, it's going to have probably the same vitamin C, the same amount of fiber, and the same amount of minerals and nutrients. However, there are things that happen when you spray a plant with herbicide. So the point to spray a plant with herbicide and fungicide is to prevent fungus and insects from attacking that food, right? So it can grow, right? And be, untouched and have a higher yield. So the problem with that is the same thing for you. If you are a person who has never been exposed to a cold, then probably when you get that cold, it's going to be a lot worse. Or your body never gets a chance to protect itself or defend itself against that cold. So your immune system isn't going to be as strong, if that makes any sense. The same thing for produce. When you are spraying produce with pesticides, fungicides, herbicides, it prevents them from even being able to be attacked by fungus, right? But you want these types of foods to be attacked by fungus, because when this happens, your plants are able to create kind of like, I guess, immune cells in the plant world for themselves. Which is great, because when plants are exposed to that and then we eat them after that, we actually take on those immune cells, which helps to boost our own immune system. So we actually want some plants to be exposed by these things. Of course, we don't want them, battery dying. Sorry guys, battery's low. So of course we don't want, them to be exposed to the point where it destroys the crop, but we do want them to be exposed a little bit so they can get their immune system up, right? So that can actually help us in the long run. So that is point number 2. First was more sustainable. Second was better quality. Third. So this wasn't an actual study, but it was a correlation. So workers that work in fields on conventional farms that spray a lot of herbicides showed a correlation of higher rates of cancer. Now, of course, correlation isn't 100% proof, but that kind of makes you raise the eyebrow. Like, okay, if the workers who work in this environment, right, who are exposed to these types of chemicals regularly, are showing higher rates of cancer, there's a correlation there, then that makes you think like, okay, maybe there's something wrong here. Not only that, when we spray so much herbicide and fungicide on plants, they kill the plants themselves, guys. So much to the point that Monsanto made seeds, genetically modification, made seeds so that they could withstand more herbicides and wouldn't die. So clearly, they're prone to killing life. And not only that, they kill insects. But we're human beings, like we're life, right? So over time, of course, it's not going to kill you right away, but over time it will do things to change your DNA. Good morning, Hope. It will do things to change your DNA, that lead to certain diseases, one of those being cancer. So another reason why I choose to buy organic, and you should probably be thinking about that too, is that, again, we take it back to Monsanto a lot, because Monsanto is the major company that produces these GMO seeds and that produces a lot of herbicides and fungicides. And in those herbicides, they have a specific chemical ingredient called glyphosate. Stop studying over my words here. So glyphosate has been shown in the 1980s, has been shown to show early cellular changes in lab animals that should have been correlated or equal to signs of early cellular changes equal to cancer. This was in the 1980s when they were starting to use this, right? They knew this from the beginning, but still, this chemical is still in the herbicides today. And what happened was, so this information comes out, and then about 6 years later, the Environmental Protection Agency goes back and reneges on that and says, you know what, actually, that's not really true. It's actually safe for humans. It actually doesn't cause early cellular changes that lead to cancer. It's actually okay, so you're fine, right? And once this came back out, they closed the records for the early 1980 studies so that people couldn't have access to that. But now we're knowing in 2015, the World Health Organization literally says, that glyphosate, the world's most widely used herbicide, is probably carcinogenic to humans. So, probably, I think that means a resounding yes, right? So that is why we need to be focusing on what types of foods we're buying, the quality. Hey Erica, how are you doing this morning? And really looking at where our food is grown. Also, a lot of people will say, look at the Dirty Dozen list. Dirty Dozen or the Clean 15. And, I'm not really a fan of that list because just because your vegetables might be cleaner on the outside, and if you guys are unfamiliar with the Clean 15 and the Dirty Dozen, it's pretty much, Clean 15 is a list of the cleanest vegetables that have the less herbicides on them, and they come out with a list every year. And then the Dirty Dozen is a list of the 12 dirtiest fruits and vegetables, that have the most herbicides on them, or residues on them. Why I don't believe in this is because when you're spraying the outside of a plant, or the outside of fruit, or vegetables, or whatever, just because it's not directly on the leaves, doesn't mean that it's clean, because we're still getting those chemicals into the soil. And where do plants get their nutrients and their water? From the soil. So, it's not just going to be on the outside of your food. Like, this is becoming like the genetic makeup of the plant. So we have to be very careful with that. So for those people who feel like, they can't buy organic, they can't afford that, that is totally fine. A lot of local farmers and farmers markets will have quality fruits and veggies that are actually a reasonable price, and though they might not have the stamp of the USDA organic on them, because it takes a lot of time and a lot of money to get that certification. Some small farmers just don't have the time or the money to do that. However, they still do use organic practices within their growing. So to find that out, you can just simply, because this is what I do, I'll go to a farmer's market or a local farm in my area, and I'll literally just ask, like, how do you grow your stuff? Like, is it organic? Do you use pesticides? And they're very upfront with you. And that's a way to actually bypass, getting your organic products from the store, because they can, have a higher premium on that. Of course, year-round farmer's markets aren't always around, depending on what area of the world you live in. So that is one way. Also, I know I just said all of this about buying organic, but if you're a person who cannot just do it just yet, always eating more fruits and vegetables is always, the key as well. Because if you can't buy organic, at least you're getting in the fruits and veggies that you need. So, that is all I have for you guys today. Thank you for hopping on. Hey, Lorianne, what's going on? Thank you guys for saying hello. And also, if you got value out of this, definitely share this out. And hope you guys have a fantastic Friday and a wonderful weekend. And I will see you guys back here on Monday, all right? Peace out.